Hi everyone, hope you all are doing good. So today I'm gonna discuss about some of the Salesforce objects that are attachment, content version, content documents, content document link. Okay, so before I moving to the technical terms, I just wanted to give some brief about why we are gonna use content version, content documents, content document link over to the attachment object. Okay, this is the Salesforce recommendations that enough now means in the further development use these objects instead of attachment, because maybe in the future they gonna deprecate this. Okay, so and also like today in the today's videos I only gonna discuss about the standard, how we can through the standard behavior how we can make the Salesforce to upload the attachment as a file, not as a attachment. Okay, it means like what does it means like as a file, not as an attachment? It means like we are gonna refer these three objects instead of attachment objects. So it means like if we are attaching anything in a Salesforce by doing some configuration level of changes, then it's gonna store in the content version, not in our attachment object. Okay, so just brief about these three objects. Like content version is the same like the attachment object, but like it also maintain the versioning of the records, whereas content document store the your document. It means like it did not maintain the version of the object, it stored your current attachment. Okay, whereas content document link, its name suggests like it there is some linking. Okay, the linking is I can say like the linking between the content version and your parent object. I'll discuss that what is the parent object in the next few minutes. Okay, so this is all about these three objects. So if you wanna make your Salesforce to let you attach your attachment as a file, not as a attachment, so what you need to do, you need only a point check, means I can say uh, only a click needed for this. Okay, so after making that change you will be able to upload your file. Yeah, upload your file as a file, not as attachments, means that gonna store in these three objects. Okay, let's move let me show you that steps. So what you need to go to the setup and you need to type here general setting. Once you click on here, you will able to see this window, and here you will be finding this the files upload to the attachment related list on records are uploaded as a files, not as an attachment. You just need to check this checkbox and save this configuration. After making this a change, do not need to you don't require to do anything. You just for example this will only control your standard behavior, not the custom behavior. Custom behavior means if you wanted to write down some logic on the basis of that, you wanted to store your files in the content version, some custom behavior if you want to implement, then for that you have to do the things by coding itself, not it get done by automatically by the Salesforce. Okay, so yeah, let's move on to the standard behavior. Means this is the case, it is having the attachment, and this upload files is the standard behavior. So once you click on this and you gonna if you are uploading any attachment from here, so it's gonna make a record in the content version. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna query over. So I'm using Salesforce Inspector. If the people who are not aware with this, I will making the video soon. It's very helpful for the developer, means for anyone, for developer, QA, BA. Okay, let's move on here. Okay, what I have done, I have query over the content version. Okay, and yeah, I'll discuss some of the fields. Let me query over here. I'm querying this. So what, just now I have created this file, and you'll able to see like it. I'm gonna discuss some of the fields. Okay, so this record get created in content version, like only a click we did, and afterwards the things is done by the Salesforce itself. So what is happening here, the path, the field of some of the fields I'm going to discuss of the content version. Path on client, store your file name plus extension of that file. First, public location id is the id where the files get published first. So this is the parent id. This will be the id of your case. So this, okay, in and this version data is nothing but your blob data. It is your document data. Okay, so in this field it gets stored, whereas in case of attachment it gets stored in a body. Here it is stored in a version data. Path on the client, in case of attachment there is a name field, there it's stored, but in case of content version it's stored here. Content document link, document id. Okay, this id is generated by the Salesforce itself. You, once the record gets inserted into the content version, then only this id get generated by the Salesforce. It's nothing but a reference to the, it point to the your content document. Okay, here yeah, so it's point to that content document. I discuss here one object content document, so that this is the idea of that record. So I got a query in the content document. I'll show you. Select from content, sorry, content document. This latest published version id refers to your content version. You can query up to, I mean it's up to you, like once you started exploring, then you can get the things. Yeah, this is just for the idea, so that it helps you, you did not stop, you get some idea about this. What it's saying, from, sorry, where, okay, you will able to see a record. What is saying, where no such content. Sorry, this is here, it is the id, not content document id. It is content document id for the content version and content document link. Okay, you able to see this record. Okay, if we are modifying the same record, so here the versioning will maintain, the version field will be storing, like if I gonna modify any existing object, so the version will be 2. That means similarly the 2 3 it's up to, means it's your modification on the same records, it depend on that. Whereas this gonna store your current, the active record. Okay, So yeah, so moving to the another object, that is the content document link object. I gonna query over here through the, so I told you like content version and content, it's keep the linking, okay, indirectly linking of the content version and your parent object is like right now we are working on a case object, so the parent id would be the case. Okay, so here I'm gonna put the content version sorry, document id. So okay, so like I said, it did not play, and there is no directly relationship between the content version and content document link. Here the content means the one more object used to come in the picture, that is the content document. So content document, it maintains the content document id and the content document id and the parent id. Okay, that the parent id is stored in the linked id, link entity id, whereas content document id store the id of the content document. Content document id is the common in a both content version and the content document link. So this used to be unique, so it's play it is, this is the field that playing with these two objects. Okay, so if you're gonna query over here, you will able to see this. One more thing, like when the record means like whenever the record gets is inserted in the content document link, there used to be two records get created against that content document id. One belongs to the your parent object on which you are working, another one is get created for the user. So this file will be, accessible, means I can say like get published to both the use current token user and the for the object for which we are working. Okay, so this is the standard behavior of the Salesforce. Okay, so this I said like content and linked id is the parent id. If you want to see that what is the type of that parent id, then you can see like this, there is a set of values that that this link entity id stored. Okay, so if you want to know the type, then you can query this way, link entity dot type. So this way you can see like type is user and case. Okay, if you wanna see like what all type link id is having, similarly like link entity id attachment is having parent id. So this is the same thing. See here, it's stored, it can take these kind of ids of these objects. Okay, so this way this is stored. Okay, so this is about like the standard behavior. Okay, and suppose if you wanna delete your this is the standard behavior I discussed. Okay, so if you wanna see the how the versioning things is working, so what you gonna do, like go to the attachment itself, modify this, you wanna I gonna upload new version for this image too. I have fired the query in the form means I'm ordering it by created descending. Okay, image 2, the version is coming to. Okay, this content versions to maintain the, see the document id would be the same for both the image one we have, for image one we have uploaded this, so the content document id would be same. Okay, and there will be two entry and the version is also maintaining. But if you move on to the content document, so you will able to see only one records against this document ID, and that will be what? That will be the current pointing value, like this one. Right now, sorry, let me copy the ID of the content. See, now it is pointing to the, here nothing, version is not maintained. Okay, so it is gonna store this way. It store your actual document, the current document. And if you wanna query over here, see, here you will not find any changes, because neither your parent ID is getting changed nor your content document ID. The changes will be in the content version and content document. Yeah. Okay, so this is all about the standard behavior, how you can control. And I just want to brief the things, some things, like some important points. In further videos I gonna show you through the means I gonna show you by doing the code and all, but here I just wanted to brief the things. Like if you want to delete your content if you want to delete your content version, so say for customization level I am talking about. So if you want to delete your content version in your code, so so you cannot, means Salesforce not allowed you directly to delete the content version. It tells us to delete the content document, not the content version. Even if you will be deleting the content document links, that also not gonna delete your content version and content document. Whereas if you are deleting the content document, so it gonna delete your uh, content document, all the things related to that content document gonna delete. Okay, and one more thing. Okay, this is image. Like I said, if you wanna delete, you need to delete the content document, not the content version or not the content document link. Uh, okay, so for one more thing I maybe skipped, like content doc is next video, but just for the overview, if you wanna if we insert record in content version, okay, and afterwards, after insertion of the record, the content document ID get generated. So if you wanna, suppose you created the record and you wanted to delete the record, there may be some scenario. So what you need to do after insertion of the your content version, you need to query in your content version again to get the content document ID. Further, you have to query to your content document against that content document ID you got from content version. Then after you get the object, content version object, and you can delete that content document. Okay, and on deletion of that, all the record related to that content document ID get deleted. Similarly, if you wanna insert, if you wanted to insert the record in content version, so only you need to worry about inserting the record in the content version. You need to prepare the object for the content version. You not need to bother about like content document and content document link. You just need to prepare your content version. You need to populate its all mandatory fields. Those are these mentioned are their version is not, these are their mandatory fields you need to populate, and for the remaining fields get populated from these values itself. Okay, so and once the record get inserted in the content version, automatically Salesforce used to create the record against that in the content document and content document link. So you need not to worry about it. But the standard way Salesforce is recommending is like used to query over the content document link, where means like content document link where the entity ID is entity. If you have a document, I believe we do not have the content document ID, we will be having only the link entity ID where we will when we will be fetching you. We need to query over this way and we'll get the record. Afterwards we have to traverse in the backward, like for content document link to content document and content document to content version. So this way we can do. I'm gonna show you these all things practically, but I just wanted to brief you all about these, so that's why I discuss here. So yeah, this is all about today's sessions. Hope you find it, hope it will help you. And yeah, thanks for being so patient here, and thanks a lot. Welcome.